Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Yo, everybody, it's the Override. So let's get to it.
Bring the pain!
What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. Ooh, yeah. As you can see, my schedule is finally back to somewhat normal, other than Christmas decorating going on in the house. Fuego Steve is back. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I'm ready to get into this week's NFL. I will be honest with everyone, I haven't quite prepared as much. NBA, we're in full swing. I mean, we're starting to get into it, and I've been writing articles. But I think I got some nice plays for people this week that, hey, man, last week, Fuego pick of the week. I was very busy. He was very busy, so I didn't make it on the show. But if you check Discord, what did I say? I said Gibbs, 51, 52, DK.
65 in some places. Insane.
Yeah. So I was right on, and I would say about my picks have been pretty good. I was talking to Heat earlier. I can't believe we're so far into the season. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. The DFS will always keep going, but seasonal people are going to start checking out now. I mean, I had a lot of teams. All my teams were practical. Well, maybe a couple of teams weren't into it. But, everybody, as everybody piles into the show, this is the Ultra Contrarian show. This is a show where I give you a cash game lineup. Fuego Steve gives you a GPP crazy flyer lineup. We're trying to win you money, at the same time build your bankroll. And also, so you'll have that lineup. You'll have his core four, his Fuego pick of the day, and then, of course, the Ultra Contrarian lineups at the end. And then I have a simulated DFS hero lineup. So before we get into it, I want to just get all the plugs out the way. If you haven't been over to Dr. Roto, get over to their site. Use code word WIN. You'll get a percentage off of your subscription. Also at DFS Hero, use code word DOC. You'll get a 20% off, I think you get. As well as, I wanted to congratulate Dubby Energy for coming on as a sponsor for Bring the Pain as well, too. If you use the code word Bring the Energy, which I have a lot of, then you'll be able to get a great discount on your product. Practically, they try to take the no jitters approach to a powdered supplement for either working out, getting through everyday life. So I want to say thank you for bringing them on, for sponsoring Bring the Pain, Heat Override, and everything about that. That just actually happened yesterday. They reached out to me and said that I could be part of it. So the code words Bring the Energy, man. That's what we're doing. We're ready to hit the slates hard. I think we're gonna have to pay up for some of these people, Steve.
Hey, sometimes you got to pay. Yeah, and that's why we try to find those value guys. This is the time of year, definitely. You got injuries. You got guys stepping up for injured players, people. So really pay attention in Discord. Pay attention to the live Sunday show. Watch for those injuries because you can get somebody who's questionable, and if he plays, he might be a good play. But if he's out, his backup might be an excellent play at a minimum price or 4,000 on TK or whatever it might be. So, man, this is the time
that happening.
Yeah, and then like you said,
this week.
Yeah, season long. We do, right? And this is the time. Yeah, I mean, week 13, we're coming up on playoff pushes for teams. And like you said, the season long people, this is the time when they start switching over to the DFS. They're out of it. And, it's come join us, man. Come on, man. The water's warm. Yeah.
All right. So let's catch up the show. Of course, Doc and the guys sat down on Wednesday night and did the first look. Last night, Willie, Doc, and Swami were up to the usual shenanigans. So you want to catch the Friday Night Lights show. Also, any given entry should be airing tonight. And then tomorrow on the subs only, in the subs only Discord at Dr. Roto, you have to be part of the team. Doc will be live from 10:30 a.m. to noon, and I will be moderating the questions to Doc. So this This should be really fun. I know Doc's a little bit like, all right, I know Heat Override knows how to give interviews, so he should be okay, right? And Dan's just like, I think so. So it should be really fun tomorrow. This should be the whole reason why you're droning drroto.com tomorrow. And then we're going to win you a lot of money and get you into your fantasy football playoffs, right, Steve?
Yeah, that's right. I haven't done a podcast with Doc in a while. We're gonna have to get Doc on here one day because I love doing podcasts with Doc, and I haven't been on the radio with him in a while either. He's great, man. Doc's great. The Doc, but you know what? As we talk about, Doc runs the show. He's the head honcho. He's great at a lot of sports. There's other sports he's not so great at. He wants to hear my NBA lineups. We got my boy Ted, my boy Ted. He's throwing in F1 again. Pay attention. F1 last week. He's going to probably win again this week. We do all those other sports. And Doc loves winning money. We all love winning money. So that's what we all help each other in all these sports. You listen to Heat. You want to win money in UFC. You listen to him. NBA, you listen to me, you listen to Will, you listen to Bright, you listen to Steve Bell doing his prop picks, So there you go.
There's so much. There's just so much. There's a lot of free content like the podcast, and then you get that snippet, you get to see what we're cooking with, and then you get over there. Like you said, the 5 fantastic picks last week for the UFC event went 5-0, so that was an amazing parlay to hit. Also, amongst the other great work that Dan and I have put together, we have UFC 323 coming up. I already have a lot of my picks. One of the fight clubs is going to be there, Blake, with one of our black belts from our school, Tia. And I'm pretty sure the Wee Wonks Picks people will be also there. So it could just be like one big smorgasbord of greatness happening at UFC 323. And that's going to start this Thursday at 7 p.m. when Dan and I give out 5. We're going to do 5 fighters, and I'm telling you, we might have a surprise as the 5th fight. But man, I love this card. But this is about football. This is about NFL Week 13. I got some plays. Steve, you ready to get to it, man? You ready to bring the pain for another Ultra Contrarian show?
I certainly am. Let's get to it.
All right, I'm just going to say this right now. I ain't going to be playing out. There's either 2 ways you're doing this slate. I said it to you earlier. I'm going to say it again. If you play JSN, you're most likely not going to play Josh Allen. But to start it off, my quarterback this week is Josh Allen. He's going into enemy territory, a team that just watched the Ravens lose. The Pittsburgh Steelers need a win. Should they win? Probably not, but the Bills and the Steelers are aching. They both need it. And Josh Allen is going to do the best he can. I'm looking at 25 plus DK points, 7,500 on DK, 9,400 on FanDuel. FanDuel's scared. That's why they got him priced up. And that's the quarterback I'm looking at outside of maybe Jacoby Brissett. And I like CJ Stroud coming back in a big divisional game. We haven't seen that big boom from Nico Collins with him, well, like just a little bit, but we're talking a 30-point Nico Collins game. We won't talk about Nico right now. What quarterbacks are you looking at, Steve?
Well, I love Josh Allen as well. He is the highest priced quarterback for a reason, and for GPPs, do you need him? That's my question. Do I want to spend $700 because I did a lineup with him? But when you're talking about Brissett, instead of $7,500, I'm looking at Brissett at $5,800. He's been pretty much. He's going against Tampa Bay, who cannot defend the pass at all. Brissett, starting in week 6, 24-20 bye week, 24, 21, 26, 21 DK points. That is consistent right there. His attempts, 49, 57, 44, 31, 38, 54. Those are a lot of attempts. He can run a little bit, he doesn't run a ton, but he can a little bit. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 straight games with touchdowns. 6 of those 7 are 2. 11 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, 1,800 yards. And again, he's going against Tampa Bay. I know it's on the road, but I don't care. This is a game that I'm targeting. You can target this game for points on both sides. So I really like Brissett down at that $5,800 dollar range. You can pay up for Allen. I did do a lineup with Allen, but
gotta have him, man. I always got a Josh Allen lineup, bro. I gotta do it, man, because when that guy goes nuclear, man, hardly anybody's on him.
Yeah, he put up 47 2 weeks ago. So when he puts up 47 points, it's crazy. And I don't see Brissett putting up 47 points.
No.
So.
No, but I still will have Brissett. I will have Brissett in a lineup. I always do. I always do my 3.
But if you look at a couple of these other weeks with Allen, right? 24, 28, 23. Well, I definitely think Brissett can do that. And you save that money on his GPPs. And you know what? If Allen goes to 50, then I don't win my single entry GPP, But that's what I'm looking at. You could pay up for Stafford again. He's having a great year. He's slowed down a little bit, but he's still 2,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. That's amazing. And
there's a lot of value. There's this slate is nice, man.
But yeah, I like Stroud too. But I'm going Brissett as my quarterback.
I like it. Well, let's get to the next level. Let's talk about the running backs because we're going to need to save some money. And as I was talking about with this game, I'm going to be highlighting, of course, for everybody that doesn't know,
the macho pick of the week is Kyron Williams. Ooh, yeah.
You can call me a homer pick all you want, but I'll say that. But the running back that I am featuring this week is Jaylen Warren. He is $6,300 on DraftKings, a little pricey, $7,200 on FanDuel. I love that price right there. And another thing is that if Pittsburgh is going to be desperate in this game against Buffalo, they're going to need to make sure, and hopefully Jaylen Warren doesn't get hurt because he got hurt the last time I recommended him. But as long as he can play this game, he will be the one of 2 backs, Gainwell included as well too, that'll be getting a lot of the passes and action out of the backfield because Buffalo does have a nice little up rush run, but that's going to leave a lot of overages with Warren. I love this matchup. This game is going to explode. If nobody's on this game, I hope that all the people watching this podcast get to this game because this game is going to get out. So as I gave you Kyron Williams and I said Jaylen Warren, I'm also going to run with my rookie I drafted in one of my dynasty year games this year was Devin Neal, 5,000. He's probably going to be highly owned because a lot of people are going to want a piece of that offense, the Saints offense. And they know that Devin Neal should have all of the work to himself. And at $5,000, he'll return his value even if he gets 15 to 20 points. That's a key to help get Josh Allen in the lineups. Who are you looking at, buddy?
Yeah, that's great. Good point. And, Neal at only $5,000 is a good play going against Miami. If you're talking about Buffalo, I kind of like James Cook too. He's poured it on. Recently he started the season really well, then had a couple downers. But last couple games, 17 attempts, 116 yards, 16 attempts. 48 yards, but 3 catches for 66 yards. I like James Cook. I like Travis Etienne. He's been playing really well. Double digits the last four games, averaging 15. He's not like that, superstar that I really look at that's going to get you your 30, 40, 50 points. But he's against Tennessee, who's not good against the run. So those are some guys. And then, you have to like a chain for Miami. I mean, you just have to.
Every week, bro. Every week, you're like, I'll do it. And then he always gets that early touchdown. You're like, yeah, I'm right. Regardless of what he does the rest of the game, it doesn't matter because he got that touchdown.
Yeah, he's number one in Chris Kennedy's rankings for a reason. And he's a lot of people's rankings. I mean, any site you go to, he's going to be number one. I have a lineup that I'm not going to give today that I was working on earlier with him in it, but I'll post one in Discord with him. But you have to love him as well. But I like my man Breece Hall. Going against Atlanta, he's only 6,000. He's not a big runner, and he's not gonna you got to hope that it's going to be he's going to be in the game with the passing because he's been catching the ball. It's 75 yards last week on 4 targets. He's still getting the attempts 16, 14, 21, 18, 11, 22. We all thought he was going to lose his job there for a while, but he hasn't. So I think that's a really good price for him. But I like your boy Williams as well. Williams going against Carolina. Now these guys, it made me a little nervous in GPPs because I'm not sure if they can put up those Gibbs type numbers. But if you're gonna, not pay for up for a chain or pay low for, like, say, Neal, for example, you get these guys in the middle that can get you those, and then let your wide receivers do the work, or your tight ends, or your quarterbacks, or things like that. So those are some of the guys that I like. I'm not sure I'm going to pay for Taylor at almost $10,000 on DK this week. Houston. I mean, he's awesome, but that's a lot of money. McCaffrey against Cleveland, he's in play, but I kind of like Cleveland defense this week a little bit. So I'm not sure I want to pay that 93. Bijan, he slowed down a little, had a big game 2 weeks ago, but 3 of the last 4, or 4 of the last 5, he's under 20 DK points. So these are some guys that, but you look at a chain, man. 21 attempts, 22. He's great, but those are some of the guys that. And then my problem is with the whole Warren Gainwell thing is who's going to get the touches, who's going to get the ball. So in GPP, they're both good plays, but you better hope you pick the right one. And then if you want to pay down a little, you can pay for Marks. And I actually, I still like Judkins a little bit, but the other guys are the ones that I really like. But that's my problem. Pittsburgh thing. I'm like, is it going to be Gainwell? Is it going to be Warren?
Is it going to be Gainwell? Yeah. You bring it up. That's a great question. It's a risk that I guess some of us take to make that lineup to do that because, who's going to be the hot hand? Do they both get a touchdown? Does Gainwell get the 2 touchdowns, but Warren gets the 100 yards? Does Warren get involved in the pass game this week? He wasn't last game. He normally is. He's normally the guy that get involved. But the way the Pittsburgh's been kind of using Warren is they kind of like running out and starting Warren off as the running back, as the first, the second down guy. And so they kind of did that. So that kind of really is help. When they get near the goal line, that's when they like to utilize both backs out of the backfield, but it's never which one it is. So it is kind of a crapshoot with the Steelers, but for the most part, when they're dedicated to Warren, and I'm feeling both running backs are going to have to be used in this game. But I feel the way that Warren attacks the guards, the way he slashes forward, whereas Gainwell kind of does more dancing around the side. He's more of like a sweep kind of guy when they get him in there. That's going to gash Buffalo a little more than that. So I feel that they're going to go into this game knowing they have to win because they're going up against Josh Allen, who's literally been punked the last few weeks and looked like shit in his last game. So now he needs to take over this division or they're not making the playoffs. The Steelers have a better chance to win their division with a under 500 record with the way the Ravens and now the Bengals coming back and the way the Browns are playing out of that whole situation. And so you got to take a win now. And that's the only way that that's going to happen for Pittsburgh is if they go all out and exploit that running game that the Buffalo Bills have had problems stopping all year long.
Let's go Bills. But all right, let's go.
Speaking of Buffalo Bills, a big part of the Buffalo Bills offense will be Khalil Shakir. It's a beautiful segue into my receiver that I want to cover. 5,500 on DraftKings, 6,300 on FanDuel. I love the 6,300 on FanDuel because it makes him a lot more unique on FanDuel. But on DraftKings, you do have DK Metcalf in the same game right there, a couple $100 more. And then, of course, if you want to flip up to the, even if you get up to the 6,200 with Brian Thomas Jr., if you can trust him, those are some of the guys I'm looking at. But, of course, I like the Greg Dortch sway on FanDuel because Greg Dortch is really cheap, still cheap on FanDuel, whereas Michael Wilson is now over 7,000. So now you have to kind of start seeing if you feel that DK Metcalf or Michael Wilson is your receiver you want to sway from. Who are you looking at, Steve?
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the rankings here. I like Shakir too. He's been playing well. He's got that big game potential. Things like that. And he's 21 points last week, 10 targets, 9 targets 2 weeks before that, 8, 7. He only had 3 the week before, but I can't remember what happened that particular game. But he's going against Pittsburgh, who they, for a traditionally good defense, they're 32nd, I think, against the pass. So you gotta like Shakir. I really like Ibuka again this week. He's kind of back to earth a little bit, but you still don't have what's his face? He's gone for the Evans, right? Godwin's not quite there yet, So he's still getting targets. He only had 3 catches on 8 targets last week, but his targets still are insane. 13 targets, 9 targets, 8 targets the past 3 weeks. He just hasn't been getting the catches, he hasn't scored in a couple weeks. So going at home against Arizona, I think maybe some people be a bit nervous. Oh, he hasn't done that well the past 2 weeks. They've lost 3 in a row, and that partially has to do with Mayfield. Is Mayfield going to play? I think he is going to play. Correct.
Yeah, last I was looking at it, it looks like he's going to play.
Yes, he is expected to start, so that's good. So I think Ibuka gets it done this week. I like Shakir. I like Ibuka, and I'll save my Fuego pick of the week for now. You could also, in those ranges, you go Metcalf on Pittsburgh if you want to play it on that side. The Jacksonville situation, I'm not really high on Thomas this week. You got a lot of mouths to feed, so I'm not really sure who I want to go with. I do like Nico Collins. I do like Waddle on Miami. So that's the game. I think Doc and them talked about. There was an article maybe today on our site. That New Orleans Miami game, I think, is a game to target. So I have one lineup where you can get a chain and Waddle in there without their quarterback, So I think you target that game. But those are the players that I like. But Shakir is a good play against Pittsburgh, so I like Shakir. I like Ibuka. And then I like another receiver who I'm going to save, who you kind of mentioned. But you could always play McMillan again. He's still doing well for Carolina, and he's only at that $6,100 range. But really, what we really have to pay attention is the whole Marvin Harrison, because that's going to affect some things. He's listed as questionable. He returned practice. Let's watch that news.
That makes it that's the thing that's gonna look at the Dortch but see, so that will affect Dortch more than it'll affect Wilson. So I feel really strong about that. But we're moving along really good, and we have covered some players that definitely are going to be in some unique situations and some sways from that, because even in that range with you could say like the mid 5,000s, people might be gravitating towards Darnell Mooney because they feel like they're going to get that Drake London kind of targets. And but then you get this last game against the Saints. The Saints, you only get 3 targets. So for me, I've never been a Mooney truster. I'd rather go down with the ship and not have Mooney on my team. So that's why I would take somebody, I would hope I want Marvin Harrison to play. But if Marvin Harrison plays, then I think that Wilson still gets the work. It's just going to affect, of course, Dortch in a certain way. But that doesn't mean he's going to come back to his full snap count either. So that's another thing that, I think that we should also look at.
He's got to watch that, and he's got to watch coach speak as well.
That's right. All right, well, let's move along to tight end. Y'all know I punt tight end. I punt tight end all the time. And I know that people are going to be all over Trey McBride, but 7,800, I'd rather get Devontae Adams at 7,500. just my opinion, because I think that Adams has a better chance of scoring before that games gets put away. McBride, you don't know. He could score. He probably should score, but are we going to be left with 8 to 9 catches, which at 7,800, moving down to Brock Bowers at 5,800, I'm looking at Colby Parkinson. That has been my guy. You know I'm a Rams fan. I'm wearing a Rams fan shirt for a reason. You're getting him at a discount, 2,800 on DraftKings, 4,800 on FanDuel. Those that you all know that's my sweet spot for tight end when I go back and I love to punt that. That's how I'm getting Josh Allen in right there. So, Steve, who are you looking at, and who do you like?
Yeah, we were talking earlier. I do like McBride. If I play him, I'm going to play him at flex. 7,800 is a huge price to pay. But the numbers he's putting up, if you're playing, Brissett, it's hard not to play him. The one lineup that I was looking at, I do have him in at flex. I mean, his targets, listen to his targets. 10, going backwards, 10, 11, 13, 9, 13, 11, 7, 11, 8, 7, 9. Those are wide receiver targets. Those are not tight end targets. He's got 80 receptions for almost 800 yards, averaging 72 yards a game, 7 touchdowns, and 18.9 fantasy points. I get what you're saying, right? I get what you're saying about some of these other guys. But let's just, if you pull up Chris Kennedy's rankings, for example, and if you go to always remember, by the way, like I always remind people, make sure you click on PPR or standard or half PPR for the rankings. But if you look at there, when you start, what I love to do is I love to look at flex rankings to see who's in there, whether they're tight ends, and you look, number 13, there's McBride. There's McBride, number 13 in a PPR. So it's hard for me not to look at him. But like you're talking about, in that one particular lineup, Parkinson at 2,800 on DK, 4 targets last week, caught all 4 passes, and he scored 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games, all wins. He's catching all his targets. He only has 19 receptions for the year, but he's only started coming on the past, since the bye week in week 9. So since week 9, he's got 6, 8, 10 catches on 11 targets and 3 touchdowns. So you're not to like at 2,800 when you compare to McBride. You're talking about $5,000 savings now for a cash. Beautiful cash game and a GPP play because you put him in there, and then at flex you could put McBride, you could put Adams, you could put a chain, you could go whoever you want at flex with his low price. So I agree with you on that. Yeah, that's right. And then some of the other tight ends, of course Bowers. I like Kittle. I like Kittle a lot at 50-some hundred. That's a big price off of McBride, and then you kind of get into the middle of the pile. I like Juwan Johnson for New Orleans. You didn't like his 4,300. It's a horrible price. And then you got Strange coming back, and then watch some of the news in, watch Buffalo, whether what's his name is going to play. I'm sorry, I want to say Dalton Schultz, but that's the wrong team. The Texans. The Buffalo tight end is.
You're talking about Dalton Kincaid.
Yes, Kincaid. Because if Kincaid doesn't go, Knox is not a bad play. Knox is not a bad play if he does not get go.
That's where our boy Jackson Haas comes into play.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at tight end.
I love it, man. It's definitely you have to either commit, do the double tight end, and a lot of people love the double tight end, going something like Kittle, and then going with McBride. Of course, for me, I'd rather take the for sure points because that's what I'm building is a cash game lineup, of course. So that being said, let's get to how we're going to afford these teams because I've recommended a team every single week. And outside of paying down for the Raiders or maybe looking at what the simulators are throwing out, which are the Titans defense, which is a solid defense, I am going back to the New Orleans Saints. They are playing the Dolphins, and on top of playing the Dolphins, if Tua just has a bad game, right, then the Saints defense is taking that game over. And in the past 2 games, they've went double digits. They've been low owned, and we've been able to save a lot of salary. I'm going to take the Saints, and they are the 2,800 level. That's what I always say. That's the sweet level for defense. 2,800 on DraftKings, 3,400 on FanDuel. That's going to be those are the couple of the defenses I'm looking at, other than maybe the Browns defense at 3,000, which you should be able to get depending on which receiver you go with in the mid to lower 5,000s. Steve, who are you looking at defensively?
Well, yeah, you just said it. I do like the Browns. The Browns, they've got 42 sacks this year, 9 interceptions, averaging 8.7 DK points. I know they're playing San Francisco, but it's at home. I'm not as in love with the Saints as you are. I just don't.
I know why.
I just don't. Because I like a lot of the guys in Miami. That's the thing.
Yep.
I like a change. I like Waddle, so now I had Tua, but you know what I think is a really, really not even a bad play, but a really good GPP play are the Houston Texans going against the Indianapolis Colts. Everyone's going to be ready. We got Jonathan Taylor. We got Pittman. Oh, man, they're the number 1 offense. Well, you know what? The Texans are playing pretty good D. They have 12 interceptions, 7 defensive fumble recoveries, 33 sacks, averaging 10 DK points. They've gone 15, 9, 14, 8, 5, 18, 11, 14. Those are big numbers for a defensive team, and that's only.
Not to mention, they have the number 1 defense in yards against at 264.3 total yards against. They are number 1. That is if you look at it, other than Pittsburgh somehow playing defensively and stopping Jonathan Taylor, the Rams were able to stop Jonathan Taylor. The Houston Texans are built the same way the Rams and the Steelers are built up front. They can stop Jonathan Taylor. That's why we don't pay for Jonathan Taylor this week, although he's probably going to score 3 touchdowns and make me look like an ass. But regardless, I'm not paying up for him.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. But, even if you look at some our rankings, you got the Texans right in the middle of the pack there. So, and if you get that casual fan, the casual fan's going to look at that and say, "Oh no," because it's versus number 1. Well, I don't want to play that defense versus the number 1 offense. But this isn't IDP leagues like I've been enjoying in our little IDP league. This is a defense that a sack gets you a point, an interception gets you a couple points, and you never know. So they like you said, they're not giving up a lot of yards. They're scoring double digits. And for a GPP play, I really think people are going to not want to do that. And I do like the Browns too.
Yeah. Those, I think you really can just stay right there in those defense. I'll move down to the Raiders, and I know that a lot of people still have the Chargers, but this is still the Chargers. The Chargers go out there and literally lay stinky games sometimes. They literally look like a bunch of stink bugs on the side of a house. You don't know what to do, and you don't want to go near them because you don't want to get overswarmed, right? This is the same thing. The Chargers are just like, oh, look. Oh, no. I don't want to play at that game. And if the Raiders get that front rush going, then it could be a long day for Herbert. And then that means the Raiders at that cheap price of $2,500 on DraftKings kind of helps. But man, we talked about all these players. We talked about what we were putting together. We're going to need to get to that core 4 and Fuego pick of the week so that we can build some lineups and make every one of these people our rich friends. Steve, are you ready? Are you ready for the core 4? Go ahead and let them know.
I will, but as I'm doing that, I'm just gonna. You hate it. You hate when I do this. I'm throwing in another one just to have something a little bit different here. So okay, I'm going with My core four. All right, let me just submit this real quick. All right, my core four. Because hey, if people, when you watch our show, me and we educate each other. We talk before the show, we talk after the show. While we're on the show, we're educating each other. So I like some of what he's saying. So my core four for the week is go with Brissett. If you're playing in a GPP, save your money, play the 5,800 with Brissett, and just get him in your lineup. Go with Breece Hall of the Jets. Save your money. Hope he gets the passes. Maybe he gets the touchdowns this week. He's definitely. I think he's going to get at least 15 carries. Maybe that yardage will tick back up closer to that 80 mark. He'll get some catches. So I go Brissett and I go Hall, and I'm going to go Egbuka. Egbuka, let's get him in your lineups. Mayfield's going to play. He's going to have a good end. If you're playing Brissett, you run Egbuka back. You get Hall in there. I'm going to have to say McBride. I say McBride, but if you didn't want to play McBride and you say, you know what, I don't want to play $7,800 tight end, you could play Cook instead. Okay, I'd be fine with McBride or Cook, even in that same lineup. If you want to come off,
yep.
Because again, it's really hard to pay that $7,800 for that tight end. But just look at those numbers. But if you want to go Cook instead, but Cook or McBride would be the fourth in my core four.
Nice, I love it. And here we are. Which player made the Fuego pick of the week?
I've been really focusing on NBA. I have been focusing on NFL as well. I look at NFL one day, then NBA, then I look at NFL, blah, 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 blah. But I like Brissett. We all are talking about targeting this game. We talked about whether Harrison's going to come back. Well, it doesn't affect this guy. Michael Wilson is going to have a big game. Mark it down. Put it on your charts. I can't promise 50 points like Gibbs last week. Okay? I can't promise this can happen. All right? But he's going to have a big game. And like you said, I think if Harrison come back, maybe it even helps him. If he doesn't, it maybe it helps him. Maybe it helps him either way. Well, because,
maybe this is where he gets that touchdown you were talking about.
That's right. With only one touchdown on the year, again, 24 points last week with no touchdown, 36 points the week before with no touchdown. That is hard to do in the NFL, to score that many points. Excuse me, I'm spitting, without scoring touchdowns. That's right. So those targets are just amazing. And I'm actually kind of hoping Harrison does come back, because maybe that'll leave the double team off him. But either way, you still got to cover McBride. But let McBride run for him. Like you said, George is a good player. So I like Michael Wilson. I don't think he's going to be incredibly highly owned. I don't think he's going to be, he's not going to be super low owned, but I don't think he's going to be through the roof. And at that price, I just, look at his prices, granted, he wasn't starting and things like that, but his prices at 3,800 last week, he scored 36, 4,800. 2 weeks ago, scored 36, 4,800 last week. They are moving him up. He's up 1,100, but rightfully so, because when you're getting 15 and 18 targets a game, that's just insane. He's my Fuego pick of the week. Yep.
I love it. All right. Let's throw out the DFS Hero simulated lineup. Let's see where they're going with. Stroud, Hall, Achane, Higgins, Jackson Smith, Njigba. Love it. Shakir, Godson, Walker, Titans defense. That's a pretty cool lineup. I love that JSN, Shakir, and Higgins. You're getting your points. You're getting the Hall and Achane that you were talking about. You get the sway that I talked about with Stroud earlier, and nobody's thinking Gadsden other than that. But with that lineup, I would come off of Gadsden, and then that way I could get off the Titans defense to a better defense and hopefully get those extra points. So if you were to come off of Gadsden and say, let's go down to Colby Parkinson, right? Well, then now I can turn that defense into the Texans defense, and we're good. And your simulated points is 130. So that's not bad for DraftKings, right?
That's right.
That's right. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get to this week's Ultra Contrarian Lineups on DraftKings. I'm standing by it, and I'm building it this way. We're going Josh Allen, Kyron Williams. We're going Jalen Warren. I'm rolling the dice. Michael Wilson, Devontae Adams, Khalil Shakir, Colby Parkinson. We're going Devin Neal and the Saints defense on FanDuel. Switched it up. Wanted to play with a little bit. Got Allen, Kyron Williams. Got Warren again. Nakua, Dortch, Shakir, Parkinson, Neal, and the Saints defense. If Marvin Harrison Jr. does play, come off of Nakua, fly down to Devontae Adams, and then you could upgrade off of Dortch to, say, Michael Wilson or another player around that level. You can look at that level if you want to play that thing. Those are my Ultra Contrarian lineups. Those are the lineups that I'm going to put my money on this week, as well change and build from them, and also sway. Because like I said, we talked about DK Metcalf. I'm putting in DK Metcalf for Shakir. This is what we do. We try to give you the best way to win money at lower owner percentages so that you can be our witch friend. Right, Steve?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I like those lineups. Those are good lineups. Yeah, that sounds like those are good lineups. You know, I think I think I need to start playing a few more cash game lineups. I tend to.
Well, you got to be smart about that too, because like right now, a lot of the lineup trains are hitting, and they're making the cash games not pay out as consistent as usual. So you really have to be smart. Yeah. FanDuel's been really hit hard with the lineup trains. DraftKings, you've been able to somewhat avoid them. So, but you can win sometimes more money on FanDuel with just a single entry. So it really gets that. And by the way, any given entry should be on tonight. So always keep those eyes open, people, because we're running this show. Then you get your single game lineup. Right, but we got, man. We threw it down. It's been a couple weeks because of my crazy karate schedule. Being a point fighting champion in this tri-state, I was able to take third in the PKR. Not that this makes any difference. Overall, I've only lost 2 matches in the past 4 or 5 years. So that right there alone is the expertise I bring to the Fight Club of Pain when Dan and me open up the doors and say, let's go. Ooh, yeah. Man, I can get so jacked up, man. This is why W Energy and me are a perfect blend, because I'm already jacked up. To jack me up anymore only means we're going to the moon, people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I surprisingly, I'm sure I've talked more than I think I've talked, but surprisingly, I feel kind of calm today. I've got some new stuff. You know, I've told people I haven't been as much NBA. I'm moving, so I've got a lot of stuff going on in my life, but I'm very happy about the move, and so I'll get back into it. I'll get some lineups in tonight, and then this week I'll be back writing on my normal schedule. But for my, did you want me to go?
Yeah, right. Do you want to line up? Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So the one that I like with McBride, okay? We go Brissett, we go Hall, we go your boy Williams, we go Ibuka, we go Shakir, who, well, let's just go Shakir, okay? You go Wilson, the Fuego pick. You go Parkinson, you go McBride at flex, and then you go the Texans defense. Now, this leaves you $200. If you don't love this lineup, hey, you guys don't have to agree with us. Hey, we're just trying to give you our best. But in this case, I'm not zeroed out. So let's say, you know what? You don't want to take that chance in the Texans team. You could do the Browns defense. Okay. Yep. Let's say you don't want to do McBride flex. You know what? You think Wilson's okay. You know, you could go down to Cook or something like that. Let's say you don't like Shakir. Maybe you go Metcalf, you know, something like even Egbuka. If you didn't want to run him back for some reason, maybe you didn't like it, you could go down to McMillan, you know, so that $200 leaves you a little playing room, because I don't mind zeroing out. People say I hate zeroing out. Don't be afraid to zero out, people. If your best lineup is zeroed out, zero it out. Now, I'm not saying, you know, now granted, a lot of algorithms are going to do that. Some people say I always want to leave money. Well, some people then tell me they're leaving 1,000 on the table. You don't want to leave 1,000 on the table either. I'm okay whether you leave 200, 300. But don't be leaving $1,000 when you can upgrade to Chase or something like that, you know. But if you don't want to zero out, there's a line up there, leaves you 200. And if you don't like one of those particular players, make a slight adjustment. Go to our rankings. Say, you know what? Steve likes this guy. Chris likes this guy. I'm going to go with Chris in this case. And boom, that's my one lineup there. And then I'll just give you my bonus lineup, which is kind of based on what we were talking about. My bonus lineup, as you know how I love to give the bonuses, right? Mm-hmm. My bonus lineup is Brissett, Cook at running back, Travis Etienne at the other running back. We go Dortch. Let's assume Harrison's out. You go Dortch, Egbuka, Wilson, Kittle at tight end. Forget McBride. Let's just say, you know what? McBride only has, for his price, only 15 points. Neal, your boy Neal at flex, and then run the Saints D at, and then that way you avoid Miami. And boom, there's my bonus line.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like you've been to the school of being a chameleon. Oh, yeah. You got the power of the macho in you, brother.
Oh, man, we always have great times, people. We hope that you love this show, that you come back every single week to Dr. Roto. Check us out. Check all of our work out, because we really have the right cure for all of your fantasy needs. Steve's talking about the F1. Steve's talking about the NBA. We're talking about PGA in the offseason. MMA, the UFC, is just hitting on all cylinders. We got people at the event this week. Blake from the Fight Club of Pain will be there in person. So we have people attending these events. Of course, we got football. We have the team at NHL throwing in. We got Mark and Kick doing their thing. This is a team effort. This is what you get at Dr. Roto. And that's why I always say those one-liners like, we have the right cure for all of your fantasy needs, or we want to make you our rich friend. That's what we do. Thank you, Steve, for making time in your busy schedule of moving to come on Bring the Pain and help make all of the pain bringers and all of our fans rich again. Ooh, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Heat. Let's get that money.
Always, my brother. I'll see you soon. Dig it. Have a great day. Woo!
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.